Yo, what is up guys? Welcome to this video. So in this video, I'm going to share with you a ton of high value screenshots, basically stuff you wouldn't see or get access to otherwise. And no one really makes content like this showing for the last 4 months. This is what this is, the last 4 months of screenshots, of valuable screenshots I've found as I research, as I learn different things, as I just find different things valuable. These are random screenshots I went back to and sorted where I can present it and share it with you. So this is going to be super valuable. I'm sure you're going to get a ton of value here. So definitely bookmark this and save this video and take notes, because I'm going to share some valuable stuff with you, all the way from valuable ads, valuable content, valuable patterns I've found, valuable information, valuable secrets. So be prepared, because I would charge definitely over $100 for this course, run ads to it, maybe make multiple 6 figures selling just this type of video here. There's value in here that can really help people succeed or just have gold nuggets from it. So let's get started with this. So here's the first screenshot we have out of 166 different screenshots. This is a funny example of basically someone who made a Facebook marketplace listing to sell their truck, and they used AI to make it stand out. So that's kind of an interesting example I saw. It's like, with ads nowadays, you could really stand out. And this is just a simple example of AI, but he's applying it to Facebook Marketplace. And the reaction was kind of really extreme for Facebook Marketplace. I mean, 26 interactions there. People even probably left comments and stuff. I didn't get that screenshotted, but he's just selling a basic truck. But to stand out in marketing, no matter what you do, you got to stand out. And this is very funny, and this works. And he made his truck really stand out. It's like doing a huge jump. And it's got the girls down there. I mean, it's a great example of a winning ad, and it's a free ad. It's on Facebook Marketplace. So that's just an interesting example there. This was interesting. This was someone talking about, why do women care about looks? And I was like, dude, just go on the Monkey app or Omegle or whatever and talk to strangers. You'll realize everyone's just looking at how each other looks. A lot of people are just basically judging people off appearances. And a good proof of that example is what I said. I'm like, the Monkey app will prove this. Because looks do matter for sure. So this screenshot is basically someone from the community. It's just a random screenshot from one of the people from the community. He spent $36 on ads, got 2 sales, and made $500 profit, and he's scaling right now. And it's just kind of a cool example of something small that can turn really big. Okay, that's huge profit margins, by the way. That's very, very high. Okay, and that happens all the time. I've done that. I've gotten literally 10x to 11x returns, okay, with different methods I've done over the years. And I still do, okay? And one of my biggest, that was one of my first, it was doing the golden ticket method, where basically I was sending pop under traffic in a very secret way to monetize ad revenue, okay? So basically you could send a high CPM YouTube videos in an effective way and pay for the dirt cheap traffic and then make an arbitrage difference, okay? It's crazy, but you could do this with affiliate marketing. You could do this selling digital products or e-commerce products or services or anything, okay? Paid ads make returns when you do the right combination of variables. Great offers, great traffic, great persuasion. So I guess I'll just read this. So the vulnerability, the rawness, that's exactly what made the videos work. People don't want polish, they want real. And sometimes being real means being scared and doing it anyway. It is true that the content that works needs to be real. And here's what I've learned. The things you think are your weaknesses, the nervousness, the imperfections, the not being good on camera, those aren't weaknesses at all. They're what make you relatable. They're what make people trust you. They're what make the right 200 viewers think this person is like me. I can work with this person. The polished, perfect script presenter, they attract viewers who want entertainment. The real, raw, authentic person, they attract buyers who want to help, and buyers are what we're after. So this is an example of basically a personal brand being relatable and also selling high ticket, okay? Like services or consulting or whatever. Being relatable is important, because it's important to relate with people. You gotta have a backstory. My backstory, I don't mention it all the time. I've had videos over the years of my personal brand. I've shared this. I mean, I've been suicidal multiple times throughout my life, for example. Just to explain this further and apply it to what about me here, and then share in the comments down below your experiences and backstories. But I mean, I've been suicidal multiple times. I've hit rock bottom multiple times. Actually, I had bankruptcy a few years ago. I was making so much money and spending so much money, making so much money at a young age. It all caught up with me, and I just had to do a quick bankruptcy, restart. Then I made all the money back and then some, okay? So that was a rock bottom moment though. And I've gotten hit hard, okay? With reasons why I'd commit suicide multiple times, but never did it. And I just had a lot of extreme setbacks, not to mention, deaths in family, and just even people with health problems, and just things happen. Everyone could relate. Stuff happens. Okay, I was bullied in high school really bad, so stuff like that, and it kind of wrecked me for those times. And my family grew up really, really poor, so I was always motivated to help them out of that, and I still am. There's always levels. You can't just like say, "Oh, I'm unlimited successful." No, like look outside your window, or go to a city, or just see examples everywhere, because the money's everywhere. There's endless money, and you can't just say you're rich and you could just go spend $10 million to buy a small little street area or land. Like, there's endless money out here. You don't have endless money. Okay, you have to be smart with how you spend your money, invest your money. Okay, so the next thing is, when I first started making these raw videos, I was terrified. And I mean, physically terrified. My hands would shake, I'd stutter, I'd feel like an idiot. This is someone explaining his story. It's not a style choice. It's not branding. It was a coping mechanism. The coffee cup stopped my hands from shaking. It gave me something to hold on to, something to ground me. It calmed me down. And here's the other thing I did. This is embarrassing to admit. I pretend I was talking to a friend. I would look at the camera and imagine my friend was sitting there, just having a conversation, not performing, not presenting, just talking. It's funny because that's what everyone tells me they feel when they watch my videos, okay? So it's not necessary to hold a coffee cup, but it is necessary to be relatable. So that's what that teaches. And you could pause and read this. This is kind of the math behind it all. Like when you're relatable and you get conversions that are high enough and you sell high ticket, it works. It works great. Making raw videos with no editing can be good. I'm not saying that's the most important thing ever. This is just an interesting takeaway. And I will say this, for most people, it will fail. What makes that relatable content work is you have to have extremes in other variables of your content. So extremes in results is one, extremes in personality, extremes in association, like what you're associated to, what setting are you in, what props or signals of authority is around you, or stuff like that, okay? There's a lot of things I could go into, but it's not enough just to do a boring video and just be authentic. It's just not. You have to have extremes in something. And sometimes being ultra relatable is an extreme, though. Keep that in mind. There's a guy who's blown up recently. He's a talking head YouTuber, and he's doing decent numbers, but he just talks in his parents' basement in a very relatable setting that's almost extremely relatable, and vulnerable, I guess you could say. And he's getting good views from it. I wouldn't want to do that, but you know, that's his life setup. That's what he chose to do, and it's a format that works because he took it to the extreme. So this is a screenshot: promote, deliver, and build. Okay. When you're selling to customers, I'm going to give them time back that they otherwise wouldn't have. So at the end of the day, time is the most valuable thing. You know, businesses with extreme leverage and huge advantages, they're hiring teams, they're hiring people, because time is the most valuable asset. That's what you're really paying for when you hire people. And then after that, you're paying for skills and knowledge and even leadership position people, stuff like that. And for business owners, you're giving them money that they otherwise wouldn't have, okay? So for business owners, you're helping them make more money or helping them save time, okay? But anyway, one product, one avatar, one channel. That's how you make $1 million a year or whatever. You just focus in, okay? I don't really recommend that, but that's like for the broad mass appeal, like everyone, it's just like, okay, yeah, that's great advice. But the truth is you can go a bit further than that. But it's good to simplify it. Like, yeah, just focus on one thing, one traffic source, one type of market, and one type of offer. But the truth is you can sell multiple offers. You can sell on multiple traffic sources. You can target multiple demographics if you want. Like, you don't have to be so honed in where it's making you lose so much money on the table. It's crazy. But anyway, how to learn: do a lot of volume, analyze the top 10%, analyze the difference between the top 10% and the bottom 90%. Figure out the most important details that make the top 10% shine and avoid the bottom 90% mistakes. That is a great way to learn. I always think, like, you got to know how to contrast, you got to know how to compare, and you got to know how to analyze the top of the top of the top, because that's where the biggest takeaways happen. And you got to notice the patterns between the top of the top of the top most successful people or businesses or whatever in anything. 6 steps to make your first $100,000. You got to have time. You got to research a skill, get paid, spend time learning, spend money in the right places, and do not increase your expenses. Probably it's what it says, but that's true. And learning a valuable skill or information is a great way to make your first $100,000. But then you got to keep your expenses low. You got to invest, and you also You need to hustle. Your first 100,000 is the hardest for sure. But after that, it's easy to make $100,000 once you're at like $1 million. Once you're past $1 million, things get way easier to make $100,000 in a month or in a few months at a time. It just depends what industry you're in. There's a lot of variables at play here. So anyway, because what the world needs is people who have come alive. Howard Truman. I don't know what it said before this. This is just a screenshot I found valuable. But what the world needs is people who have come alive. That's very true. Okay. All right. So pre-selection is a super interesting concept. I've studied it for years along with other things in evolutionary psychology, but extremes create scarcity value perception. You're not good, you're irresistible. Social proof pre-selection, network, and allies, it's a top amplifier in status or mate choice copying. Women do rate guys like 20% to 40% more attractive when they have pre-selection, but this also applies to social proof, and this applies to networks and allies and friend groups and everything. So you can read more about this, and you can go in depth in your own research and stuff, but this is highly proven. I've known this for years, and I view social proof as one of the top amplifiers in persuasion. You can almost sell anything when you have it for real to the extreme around a product or around yourself for network and status effects, but it's very powerful for selling anything or increasing your status and dating and everything. Okay. So the best takeaways from this conversation, I got the transcript from. You gotta have a will to power. It beats uncertainty. 3 responses to hardship is nihilism, stoicism, or transformation. And then unless you're dead or dying, defeat is largely psychological, because only extremes like death is the only thing you should be worried about. If you take a conflict or a situation that's bad that happens to you, whatever, who cares? As long as it's not devastating, you can keep going. You have to be resilient in this world. You have to be. Don't isolate connections as a survival tool. And that's very true. Like a lot of times after failure or something, people isolate. But the truth is you got to stay social because we're meant to be social. It's a social survival game. This world is a social survival game. And it's a networking game. And you need to be known and you need to have allies because you will have enemies. And trust me, you will have enemies in this world. And if you don't have allies, if you don't have resources, and if you don't have connections, you're screwed. Don't isolate ever. And I'm not saying go out and party. I'm saying you got to learn the skill of knowing how to actually network, how to always bring new people in to your network. And I'm talking people on your level, people above your level, people below your level, and also have a team as well who works with you. People are designed to come together and gather resources. That's a fact. Okay, so anyway, the gym can save your life during dark seasons. I really agree with that. Like the gym is almost a therapy session for most people who go a lot. I go like every day. Okay, so turn lemons into lemonade, make pain your advantage. So, there's gonna be conflicts in life, and if you're really smart, you understand how to monetize it and actually make it be an advantage and an unfair advantage that can make you win further and make it into a win. So if something bad happens to you, you can turn it into powerful leverage. You could use it for motivation. You can use it as anger to fuel you into motivation. You can use it to leverage as a story that can sell something. You could use it as content that can go viral. When bad things happen to you, it can really, if you film it right with the right framing, quote unquote, it can crush it. It can be an extreme free advertising for you. You could sell something in association with that virality. Because extreme conflicts will happen to you almost every 6 months on average. This happens to most people. On average, every 6 months, there's going to be extreme conflict in your life. You can film that when it happens. You can profit from it. That's called being high IQ. Okay? Use pain as information, leverage, not identity. Like you can learn from mistakes or pains. But anyway, it's best to learn from others, but it's going to happen to you. Like conflicts will happen. You got to learn from them. You can pull the strings of fate. Okay, grab the strings and adjust your course at crossroads. We could skip that, but I'm just kidding. Yes, some things are scheduled, genetics, era luck, but you still have agency. Grab the strings and adjust your course at crossroads. People do have a fate. You're born into how you look. You're born into everything about yourself and where you're located in the world and your advantages and disadvantages. So fate is not usually fate. You have full control still, okay, of what happens. The modern world equals you just do things. Today you can move countries. You can start a business easier. You can build distribution online. You can reinvent yourself fast. Divorce isn't the end. Handle it strategically. So you can read into that if you want. But this is just some valuable stuff I found valuable here. Confidence is king. That's for sure. You gotta be confident in this world. One thing that stood out the most from something I was researching, my business isn't construction. My business is people. That's actually true for Almost every successful company, even tech companies, it's true. At the end of the day, a business is just a group of people gathered together to build a product or a service. And a business primarily is people. And when people or investors buy businesses, they're buying assets, of course, but they're also buying people. Okay, they're buying teams. It's a strategic advantage to invest in buying a business that has really great A players. A business is primarily about people coming together to work together. So here's an interesting comment I left. So I had my first $100,000 in the bank at 21 years old, and that is also when I felt very wealthy, and I had a supercar, a luxury apartment, a simple car, and apartment unit, and I was making 10K to 30K months, and then also made 100,000-ish month when I was 22. I'm starting to scale $2 million months, 90% profits. So I kind of left that comment on some video that prompted me to leave that comment. So I screenshotted it. I don't know. But that kind of sums up my journey when it comes to my career from the beginning. Like I did have 100,000 in the bank when I was like in my early 20s. I had my first 100,000. Then a year later, I had my first $100,000 month, and then big consistent months. And now I literally am scaling to $1 million a month right now. The goal, of course, is as high as possible, like 10 million a month, So anyway, it's interesting. 4 hours of promotion, let people know about your stuff. 4 hours of delivery, give them what you promised. 4 hours building, figure out what to do next and how to do it. I mean, this is good advice. I thought it was interesting. I don't like the number 4, by the way. So that's kind of a funny thing. But yeah, when you're trying to organize your life, you got to know yourself and you got to know what works for you for being smart with managing your time. At the end of the day, the most important actually is marketing. So marketing is one of the top most important things because it decides how much money you really do make. Delivering a great product is important for sure, but you could have a horrible product, but if you have good marketing, you can crush it. You can also just promote other people's products and services as an affiliate successfully. And then being strategic and planning and learning, that for sure matters. That could take you far. And the compound effect of knowledge is no joke. So 6 steps to getting your first $100,000, cut all costs, save time, research a skill people already pay money for, spend time learning, spend money in the right places, and do not increase your lifestyle. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So I love this pyramid and example, but it's so facts. And people with a lot of money, it's all about self-actualization. So basically it's almost like spiritual. It's almost like being grateful and reaching a higher self. So when you've achieved a lot in your life or you just have a lot of access, resources, and abundance, you almost become more spiritual. You'll see this across the board, or you become not so spiritual. Okay, psychological needs. So once these are met, it's going to be safety needs. After this, it's going to be love and belonging. Then it's going to be self-esteem. Then everything's taken care of and you're at the top. Okay, that's kind of how it works. And within each one of these categories or steps or layers, there's money to be made here. These are things that people will always pay for. So don't forget that. And this could be very high ticket at the top. Okay, these are very basic, very necessary, very needed needs. So if people don't have one of these, they'll pay anything to get it if they're in dire need of it. This applies to everything. Everyone needs these things, okay? The big lesson, most billionaires don't start with passive income. They built massive active income first, then invested it. So the real goal early on is increase your earning ability through valuable skills. One powerful line from the talk, you want to be rich, not look rich. And that's a fact. Like, you can have billions of dollars in the bank. You do not need to wear a suit and tie, okay? It's not about how you look. It's not about how you're presenting yourself. It's not about wearing a watch and chain. Low-level thinkers think this way, okay? Low-level people with low-level results, they think, oh yeah, you need to have the flashy stuff. I've had the flashy stuff. I have flashy stuff. But the thing is, quite literally all that matters is results. Okay, what's the money in your bank? What's the knowledge in your brain? What are your skill sets? What is your network? These are things that really matter. These are the things you really need to grow and invest in growing. All the flashy stuff's pointless. It's not about looking rich. And this will take you potentially 10 years to actually discover. Depends on which part of your journey you're on right now. So this is interesting. This is kind of funny. This was inside a webinar I was watching. Someone left a comment and I agree with it. And it was even mistyped. Having a visual component to your storytelling multiplies attention or retention by 60,000 times or whatever. And the truth is, yes, it's very true. Adding visual components and visual layers to your content will increase retention by a lot. Maybe not 600,000 times, but the compound effect and the Lollapalooza effect takes place when you're combining a lot of variables together. It is powerful. Funnel shift. YouTube is not content. It's a distribution funnel. People do watch, they click, they watch, they trust, and then they take action. And that's all it is. It's a never ending cycle of that. And that's what the funnel really is. Watch time is YouTube's #1 growth signal for sure. They really care about watch time, but it's also about retention. Because if you have an hour-long video and people watch 1 minute of it, that's not much watch time, that's not much retention. But if you have super high like retention over like 70%, that's a lot of watch time on a long video and a high retention. It will get pushed in the algorithm. YouTube freaks out. YouTube freaks out. They will find audiences for a video that gets high metrics. And as long as it sticks, as it gets pushed, it keeps getting pushed. And that's how it works. You can have a ton of different niches, a ton of different topics, a ton of different content formats on one channel. You do not need to have separate channels. People think, oh yeah, I gotta have separate channels. Oh my gosh, no. YouTube's one giant channel, and YouTube has a bunch of channels, like billions of channels, and tons of trillions of content and videos. And YouTube recommends videos that's good and gets high retention and high metrics, and that's all that matters. Series and systems outperform random uploads. Big channels build repeatable formats. And that's true. You should triple down on formats that work. This is a funny screenshot. So someone was making a music video and they didn't make the song, so they're just leveraging a song and they're making a music video. And I saw the comments, I'm like, everyone thinks this person made this song. Are people really that dumb? I was just kind of shocked. I was like, what the heck? There's no way. All the comments I'm seeing here of people saying, wow, great song, great job. They literally just took a song they didn't make from Yeet, the music artist named Yeet, the rapper named Yeet or whatever, and they just did a music video, lifestyle music video over it. And people thought they made the music. I was like, what the heck? You can't be that stupid. But okay. Yeah. And I got a lot of likes on that, which was kind of funny. That's actually a lot of likes for a random comment if you think about it. But yeah, I think this is going to be more common with AI now, and just it's not illegal or whatever, but and you're not going to earn ad revenue or whatever, which doesn't matter. But anyway. Okay, 1-sentence summary. The fastest way to build a personal brand is not by going viral. It's by helping real people solve real problems and letting the reputation grow. I mean, that's true, but virality is very critical to grow a personal brand and build awareness. But bringing value is where real money is made. The big truth about offers, most people miss this. The offer matters more than the product. 2 identical products can sell 10x differently depending on the offer. Russell Brunson often says, people don't buy products, they buy offers. And this is very true. Like, you could sell just a course for $297, but when you combine stuff together, it's a super offer. And at the right price point, it'll sell like crazy. And you could even sell it at $297, the same thing. And what do you think people are going to buy? They're going to buy the combination offer. It's like 10x or higher value. The big mistake people make, they bundle random stuff, but you need to bundle congruent stuff that actually makes sense. Okay, so you can pause and read that. How to massively increase perceived value, use contrast stacking. So you can basically show the price points and the worth and the value of each bonus they get, and a backstory behind each bonus and explanations behind each bonus and thing they're getting in the bundle or in the offer stack. Combining offers will make you rich, and it makes you stand out big time. Make money or opportunity products. Examples are these, and then why they sell well. Strong desire for financial gain, high emotional pull, and high perceived value, but competition is extremely high. At the end of the day, like in make money opportunity products, like people buy what works, what gets results. And you can charge as high as you want as long as you get results. I could explain more about this, but that's just a random screenshot. Okay, so when it comes to selling like digital products, this is one of the top types of things to sell. And I was just kind of ranking stuff and what AI thought, and this is kind of what it thought. So, and it's right. This is one of the biggest industries there is right here. Okay, you can pause and read all that. But that makes money. People buy it like impulse buying, okay? If you know how to market and sell it, people impulse buy. Now, educational content and courses, this sells really well for sure. Digital books as well. And yeah, so the real secret, what actually sells best, the easiest digital products to sell have 3 traits: instant gratification, clear result, and emotional desire for sure, okay? Digital product demand hierarchy. So this is if you were to rank all the best types of digital products to sell, they'd be within these categories, okay, ranked. And I teach exactly how to leverage this one, by the way, and this one. So I literally teach both of these. I happen to teach both of these. I've been doing it for years, sharing my journey, sharing my knowledge, sharing my results over the years. If you're new here, I highly recommend learn from me, join the free community, and in the classroom section, you will get access to courses that can help you make some serious money, get serious results quickly. So it's insane. So why templates and tools are underrated? It's because they're fast tracks to get results. Like, they basically inherently mean, oh, you're going to get templates, you're going to get tools that actually do stuff. Okay. Now, information is priceless, but getting tools or softwares or templates or whatever, that's a great digital product to sell. Why communities are very powerful digital products, it's pretty obvious why. Communities, that's gonna be a thing that'll make money forever. And people always pay for access, they'll pay for networks, they'll pay for in-person, they'll pay for community, and it works. And the Skool platform, you can check out the link down below to join my Skool platform. You can see how it works if you're new to that whole platform. That platform is, I've compared a lot of different platforms out here online, and that one is really good. It's crazy. Almost like the Apple or the Tesla, but for communities. It's really good. Okay, the most scalable digital products would be these for sure, and you really should always sell a subscription, okay? Recurring income is the lifeblood of a business, and it allows a business to be very profitable, and you need high profit margins, and selling subscriptions and memberships and communities and even SaaS products, all with recurring revenue, this stacks up, and this is passive. It becomes the lifeblood of your business. Okay, the real ranking, so you can see that again. Create a single use tier list. So these are different ranked money making opportunities. You can take a look at that. I saw someone ranking this, I just screenshotted it, but it's true. Like, consulting is a great thing to sell. Marketing and services is a great thing to sell. Info products is a great thing to sell. High ticket is a great thing to sell. Affiliate marketing is really great. Freelancing, I don't really like that one as much. Low ticket communities, that could be good. It's a great recurring income stream, not much maintenance needed, and the community handles itself. Just bring people together, basically. Branded e-commerce, I don't have much to say about that other than you can get huge exit multiples when you're within that. Okay, so Amazon FBA, I think that's pretty saturated, but there's huge money there for sure. OF management is pretty good. I've worked with a lot of OF like agencies, and they print, okay? But I've gone the route of like you could sell content bundles at scale and really crush it. Create offers that are no-brainers. I teach how to do this in the AI method, by the way. OF and FanView and stuff, it's getting saturated and it's way harder to make money with. If you're already in momentum, I can help you just scale to the moon like crazy and just scale what you're doing like 10x with all my different ways to go about it with increasing conversion rates, extra monetization, and extra better marketing, extra free traffic sources, and then how to scale with paid ads. So it's just crazy. Dropshipping's good, but I recommend definitely do organic dropshipping compared to paid ads. Like paid ads for dropshipping sucks. If you're gonna do dropshipping, figure out ways to go viral with a product that you can go viral with, and then just get free traffic and viral traffic with TikTok and Instagram and YouTube and stuff. You can crush it with dropshipping. You could do the same thing with affiliate marketing too. AI automation could crush it right now. Anything to do with AI, like services, crush it, and that would be at the top. You could just attach AI to all of these, and AI applies to everything here. YouTube Faceless is insane, but YouTube's cracking down on it a lot. But you just have to make really good quality content, not crappy content. Higgsfield AI is a really good tool, by the way, for crushing it. And you could combine Higgsfield with Claude, by the way, and I recommend you look into that. Content creation can make you mega rich, and it compounds, and the content lives out there forever, and it's one of the biggest income streams you can have. I highly recommend it. It's almost guaranteed scalability with no risk. That's how I view content marketing, and it can apply to all of these. So this is a quote, someone just kind of talking about YouTube. So Eric says, find videos that only you can make. If you look like everyone else and blend into the noise on YouTube, you will never build a brand, audience, or a brand or an audience, or a brand or an audience. So that's the truth, and you got to make content that stands out. You cannot be normal. You have to be new and different and real and extreme. So treat your channel like a show. Post content for the same audience. If I watched a show and they had a new cast of characters every episode, I never watched them again. Now, this is advice from his experience, but there's a lot of routes you can go, okay? Like, you do not have to do the same format every time. This is what's worked for him, but that's because his mindset is around doing a show. There's a lot of ways to go about YouTube, just so you know. So this is an interesting screenshot. This is representing the power of story selling. There's not much context here other than these numbers. So someone spent like $129 to buy a bunch of $1 products and sold them on eBay with a story attached, and they made like $8,000 back as an experiment. And they did like simple stories. They didn't even have AI in the past. So I'm just going to say this right now. If you're making it through this video, this is a treat for you, along with all the other treats I've given you of information. But these guys basically did an experiment. They bought a bunch of simple products, okay, that could have a story attached to them, like little statues, little antique products and stuff. I even tested this, by the way, and there's nuance to it, so I'll explain that. So you don't have to have the learning curve I did. I did this as an experiment for fun. I went to the DI for fun and bought a bunch of random items and tried to resell them with stories, and it had nuance to it, so let me explain. So the experiment they did was the power of story selling, but what they didn't mention, what they didn't, is how they leveraged the power of, publicity. They basically had authors and the news and social proof and attention, people just word of mouth talking about it, all this stacked up together to basically promote these listings, and people bidded on them. And they made huge returns, but it's because of good marketing plus good story selling. It wouldn't be as effective if they didn't have the stories. So the stories mattered, but good marketing matters too. So if you're going to do this method, you have to source and find good products, and then use AI, which was not a thing back then that they used. You got to use AI to make stories behind these products. And in my opinion, the best stories are first-person experience stories that are fictional around the product's life itself. And you got to leverage like any imperfections about these products or anything unique about them, and you show the picture to AI or multiple pictures and multiple angles, and it makes really good stories about each product, and it's crazy. And then you just need good marketing. So good ways to do marketing is like leveraging TikTok to do stories, and just leverage short form content creation to do stories about each product. Then you link to your eBay store, and people see all your stories and your products, and people buy and they bid. And you can make great returns on investment. But the point here is like to show that story selling crushes it. One more huge opportunity. The real gold mine might not be eBay. It's TikTok, story selling, selling the object. That's funny. I just talked about that. But yeah, I was brainstorming this opportunity at one point. Game theory, why dating is a zero-sum game. So a bunch of dudes are spending money, spending time, taking risks, quote unquote, to enter into the poker game or to compete for one girl. And then she picks player B. Player B wins, but all the other dudes are losing. They lost time, they lost money, all this stuff. So that's kind of how dating does work in today's world. Okay, this is interesting. So this is a clipping community on Discord, and don't underestimate the power of clippers and clipping. It is serious money and powerful distribution. If you can make really good content, especially for a personal brand, you can get actually famous very quick. But it's not about getting famous. It's about building a legit brand and monetizing like crazy. And it's also about building a product or a service and building attention around that. But this is best for personal brands for sure. Clippers can clip and they have their own distribution channels, and they want to clip, and they want to get as many views as possible, and they will clip up your content if it's good. And you can get in front of this huge clipping community along with many others. And this is a good example of it. Like, this is powerful. Like, clipper distribution is huge. It is huge. And it's a new thing in the last few years. This is interesting of a ad I saw. I'm like, this really grabs attention. It's an extreme conflict ad, a high pain ad. It just grabs attention. It's a sad ad. It evokes emotion. So it stands out on the feed. I'm like, I'm gonna screenshot that. That's an ad that for sure stands out, and I'm sure you can see why. And I don't know what they're selling. I may have forgotten, but yeah. More customers equals everything. If no one knows you exist, you die. Best product doesn't matter without attention. Distribution over product early on. Translation, your number one job is get eyeballs. I mean, top priority for any business, also just anyone, if you want to make more money, you better get more eyeballs and you better get more fast. Now, don't make ads, you got to make content. Ads get ignored, content equals discovered plus shared. Now, I do ads, I've done a lot of ads over the years, but ads is a huge learning curve for most people, and it turns off. Ads turn off, but they can be scaled rapidly, and they're great to invest in when you have something profitable. The winning strategy is you enter feeds naturally, you provide value or entertainment, and the content stacks up. It lives forever out there. It gets discovered forever. Imagine you have 100,000 or more videos out there for your personal brand or for a product or a business you started, or for the AI method I teach, okay? The AI adult method. Having 100,000 pieces of content out there linking to whatever you sell, that's powerful. I mean, it is. This was never possible in marketing before in the past. Content marketing was never a thing, and by the way, it is the top form of marketing to make money online without a doubt. It is the top driver for what makes the most successful businesses in the world right now and personal brands in the world right now is content marketing. And like I said, this was never possible before because there was no content, there was no platforms, okay, with billions of users. Don't explain what you do, explain the problem you solve. You just gotta be more specific about what you do and the results it generates. It just matters. Distribution is the new advantage. Like, anyone who literally has attention can launch anything and crush it. Literally anything. So you can build products, you can use AI, you can be the first to be on top of a new trend or opportunity, and you can launch it to your distribution advantage. You got to build your audiences now. Like, now. Everyone should have a personal brand. Everyone should have an audience. Everyone should have access to contacts that know their business or know them. And this is a huge advantage in the world. Huge. So distribution equals trust, important distinction, followers equal attention, trust equals influence. You do need both. I mean, you can go viral and just get attention That's just what it is. But trust is what gets sales, okay? You need both, and that's a fact. The real goal of marketing, shorten the distance to trust. That's true. By the way, what builds trust? Can you guess what it is? I believe strongly that trust is built through social proof, numbers, and reality, but also mainly through familiarity and time investment. That's why watch time is the top metric there is. So don't forget that. I'm sharing with you guys the truth, okay? If you want consulting with me, I share even more value specific to you. So anyway, the real goal of marketing, shorten the distance to trust. That's a fact. Creators equal the new distribution angle engine. Future is creators equal co-founders. Creators equal investors via attention. Why? They already own attention. They have trust. So creators are the new super entrepreneurs. That's a fact. They own distribution. When you own distribution, you can launch anything. It's the most lucrative business ever. And you can monetize in tons of ways and have opportunities brought to you constantly. And your network is your advantage, because your network's not about who you know, although it is, but it's mainly also about who knows you, okay? So this is kind of an interesting infographic or whatever about different personal brands. It's showing who's about gender politics, who's about money and fitness, who's regular, who's controversial. So you can look at this in depth here and just like compare everyone that they were ranking. That's funny, Bradley Martin's in the middle. But when you go really far with controversial and gender politics, things get really flooded there because it does get a lot of attention. So people do seem to gravitate to these topics for sure, and they do get a lot of attention. But if you want longevity and safety, you can go this route. This dude was talking about mainly people within the personal branding space that talks money and fitness, basically, those type of personal brands. So these are people who are doing it safe. These are people who are dealing with a lot of conflict constantly and drama. The fate model, focus, authority, tribe, and emotion is linked to survival because each component taps into human primal instincts that helped us navigate complex social environments. Today, it's used to influence, persuade, and negotiate with others. So it's just an interesting framework. I screenshotted because I found it valuable. So here it is. So survival, focus, authority, tribe, and emotion. You know, novelty does capture attention. If you want to know the top thing that works to get attention, whether you're doing ads or content or any type of marketing, it quite literally is novelty. It's the most guaranteed way. Mr. Beast knows this and he leverages it like crazy. And he knows all the variables of content and he combines them to create novelty, compelling spectacles, and he plays to people's fantasies, just like the 48 Laws of Power teaches. Now, authority, people are hardwired to, you know, listen to authorities, buy from authorities, take on recommendations from authorities and everything. So tribe is your instinct to belong and conform. Belonging is critical. You know, this is a social survival game. This world, it's all about the social aspects to life. And so people are meant to want to belong. They're designed, and we're designed to want to belong to tribes, okay? So yeah, an emotion bypass rational thought. So, I mean, people buy emotionally. I mean, they do not buy logically or rationally. We buy emotionally, okay? We make decisions emotionally. Now, attention equals the gateway to influence, obviously, and attention is powerful. It just is, and it needs to be emphasized. Childhood scripts do run your life, like how you made friends, how you felt safe, how you got rewarded, how you got punished, all this stuff. It all decides and designs how you are as a person later in life. Your upbringing matters, okay? Make them feel clever equals elite persuasion. So give people 2 pieces of information, let them connect. This is super advanced in persuasion, by the way, like having the person have the inception in their mind and the epiphany in their mind that they made the decision. This is powerful, okay? If it's self-generated, the thoughts and ideas they have and decisions they make that persuade, that makes it irresistible and automatic where they just buy, okay? The brain trusts its own conclusions more than yours, of course, and you can make people arrive at this by asking the right questions, by gearing conversations effectively, by diagnosing people's problems and offering solutions where it becomes a no-brainer and obvious to them that it's the best decision. That's called persuasion, okay? And it's the most obvious and effective way to sell. So identity is the strongest lever of behavior. People act in line and who they believe they are. If you, just kidding, I'm just messing around. If you get someone to think I'm open-minded, I'm responsible, they will act accordingly. Tony Robbins talks a lot about this, how identity is one of the most powerful persuasion levers, because even to persuade yourself, because people act in line and consistent with their identities around themselves, okay? Their identities, their behaviors, their traits, and things about themselves that they strongly believe about themselves. This is why pre-commitments work. This is why habits stick when tied to identity, and cognitive dissonance drives behavior. I am the kind of person who blank is more powerful than goals. It is super powerful. The PCP model equals how people are persuaded, perception, context, and and permission. So you can look more into that. I'm just gonna skip that so we can have a higher pace here. Okay, because I screenshot a lot of valuable stuff I found valuable, and I'm just presenting it here for you. So micro commitments is how influence really works. And yeah, that's true, but that's only one angle to it. But big decisions don't happen suddenly. They're built from tiny yeses, and this is true. This is called the trial yes closes, or the whatever. It's just called commitment consistency, basically. It's a cognitive bias. When people start doing actions, like positive actions, like maybe they go through a funnel asking questions and they're saying yes a lot, or they're listening to a speaker that's getting them to say yes in their brain a lot. All these micro commitments add up where it becomes easier for them to say yes when it comes down to the final decision to say yes. So that's what master persuaders actually do. It's one of the things. Okay, and there's a lot of ways to leverage this. Okay, here's another topic about dating. So this is kind of funny. So what's the best opener? You know, the best way to flirt. They found that doing compliments is the best compared to the other things. A lot of people do this when they're flirting or whatever. But let me see, self-praise, humor, imagine future. These are different categories within flirting, basically. And also what males versus females do when they're flirting. Okay, most common. And what works and stuff like that. So yeah, this is really interesting to me. I love seeing viral videos, bro. I love like seeing what made them work, because I have a deep understanding of this, and I wonder what other people will be like in the future, how they think about it. But I mean, I've compared millions of videos, and I speed run through thousands per day of videos, because I'm always learning, and I'm always analyzing, and I'm always getting inspiration from stuff. And I like analyzing videos that work and why they work. Even videos that get low views and sell at high rates and get huge results, and that are hyper persuasive, but also especially the videos that get huge views. Now here's one that got 50 million views. This format, it's 1 minute, 25 seconds. It's long form, okay, long form, but short form. But it's not in the short feed, so it's a long form. And on YouTube, long form is a big deal because people click into descriptions and click links, and you could sell stuff. And this is powerful for affiliate marketing, for example. So you can leverage a format like this. And if you get 50 million views, that's equivalent to making $1 million if you're effectively promoting something within the video, okay? It's equivalent to $500,000 to $1 million or more, okay? So that's what this type of video could make, okay, if they know what I know. Now here's another video. This has to do with an animal attacking a human, basically, both of these ones too. One has a kind of small view count, but still pretty big. This one has 11 million, okay, 2-minute video, okay? This Tekashi 6ix9ine, he understands attention and audience retention and shareability and what's entertaining, and he gets it, and he knows how to combine the variables. I could go deeper in this, but it's just an example. This is a super viral video, and I'm sure you can know why. And recreating that's hard. So it's good to see viral videos and know what you could recreate or not recreate, okay? This right here, this is like different viral videos once again. Now, I'm not going to go in depth really about why I screenshotted these, but these have reasons why they get big views. You do not have to be famous to get big views, by the way. Yes, Putin is very famous, okay, or very infamous or very known. But why these got big views, that's what you need to study, okay? It's very important to understand stuff as to why things work, okay? And then this, why do you think this worked? I'll explain this one. This one worked because it's extreme. It's very novel and different, never seen before. And it's a real, okay? That's why, and it's a conflict, okay? This one right here, an extreme conflict between two celebrities and violent act, okay? This video went mega viral. You can recreate this even at a low level and crush it, okay? The 5 opportunities: solve human problems, rare access, unique experiences, novel faces plus fresh perspectives, craftsmanship plus skill, personalities, and relationships. These are good opportunities. You know, when you solve human problems, you make big money. So this is another funny comment I left. The thing about negative outcomes is on a long enough timeline, they are inevitable. So I left this on some video. I don't know what video, but it's probably something to do with AI, like the end of the world or something. Because that's what it seems like to me. Or maybe nuclear bombs or something. The truth is, on a long enough timeline, conflict quite literally is inevitable. violence or the worst case scenario on a long enough time horizon, it actually truly is inevitable. I really do believe that, and that's a problem. So this is a very interesting image I saw that kind of inspired me. I'm like, this is entertaining. This is interesting. This makes people want to listen to what you got to say. This is edutainment right here. So this is an interesting, inspirational kind of image that I was like, it's just interesting. It just kind of stands out. Let me know what you think. So anyway, I just saved that one. So everyone tries something. Everyone tries, and when they try to do something, it's either they win or they lose. When you understand whenever you try anything, if it has the potential to win, then go for it. But if you lose, who cares? At least you tried to win. And the upside always outweighs the downside, usually in most actions that you pursue. And that's all life is. It's just an endless universe of story. It's endless characters with desires, and they go on their journeys. And there's going to be conflict no matter what on any journey you go through. And typically with the desire, it's the desire to win or lose, to avoid losing. And most people move towards pleasure and away from pain. So anyway, this is an interesting screenshot where I was like, how many people are actually on the road versus inside? I wanted to know the exact data. Now this is just for like Utah or whatever, but this applies almost everywhere. So majority of people is indoors. And guess how many are on their screens? It's 60 to 70% of people are online on their screens, whether it's on TV or their phone or whatever. People on the road, that's 5 to 10% of people. And at nighttime, it's of course way higher amount of people sleeping and indoors. Everyone else is either just not on screens and indoors. That's 15 to 35% of people. So yeah, it's just a very interesting statistic. It's like most people are online in the matrix. Keep that in mind because it's a very interesting eye-opener. So if you want a blunt, practical estimate for where are people during the day, most people are inside. A majority of people probably interacting with some screen. Only a relatively small majority are on the roads. So OF is a hugely successful company with just like a small number of employees. That's because this industry makes crazy money. If they showed the numbers and statistics for other types of businesses or whatever within this industry, people would be shocked by the profit margins, but also the cash flow and also how much money is being made per employee. Another statistics, how high the profit margin is. It's huge. So this prints money. That's why the AI adult method's insane. Leveraging the power of this industry, but also leveraging AI with it and how to crush it. So no one's teaching what I know. No one's doing necessarily what I know other than the people that actually learn it from me. So if it's something you're interested in learning, check it out. Or if you want consulting with me, that's where you get the extreme value. You get all my programs for free, plus that program, plus you get the updated advanced information if that's what you want to learn from me. The AI method, the advanced version with mentorship. So just contact me, let me know. So for your long form content, I definitely like the Q&As much better. Let me know what you guys think. Someone said they like the long form question and answer videos. It's almost like a long form podcast, but just answering the questions. I think this video I'm doing now, it is a very valuable video compared to answering questions because I'm presenting to you kind of rare screenshots from the last like 4 months that are honestly content that's shifted through probably hundreds of thousands of videos. Some of the best stuff, quote unquote, some of the best stuff. So just interesting takeaways that you are getting right now. I love the performative empathy, how these influencers act like they genuinely care about helping people who need it when it's obvious they're just chasing views and monetization. They assume every follower is broken and desperate for unsolicited wisdom as if their single piece of content is the magic fix everyone's been waiting for. It is interesting because a lot of self-improvement kind of gurus or whatever, I left this comment and improved it a little bit with AI, improving my comment. It's like they act like they want to help, and they act like the people watching are in desperate need of some wisdom or advice, or they almost act like everyone's broke. And this is by default. A lot of people who teach or whatever, share advice or whatever, they all seem to be acting like the person watching is broken. But the truth is a lot of people watching are successful or doing just fine or chill or just bored and watching content. So it's just kind of funny that this is the dynamic that's very common with the frame of the dynamic of the content. It's weird. The reality, most people follow thousands of accounts and consume thousands of pieces of content every single day. These creators don't own us, and they don't actually give a damn whether we succeed or not. It's all just theater. Now, I don't know what video I left this comment on, but It was just a really good comment I left, so I screenshotted it. Okay, so AI tools. Dude, I love Claude. Claude is insane. That's a fact. I mean, programming with Claude, getting information from Claude, brainstorming with Claude. I've compared almost every tool. I agree with this thing someone made. Claude's insane. I'm not seeing Replit up here. Let me see if they have Replit. I love Replit for building softwares and just about anything. Cursor's really good. Codex is really good. All these ones at the top, for sure. They're at the top for a reason. They're all really, really good. I recommend them as well. Grok's kind of funny that it's kind of a lower one, but Grok is good for certain things. Zapier is insane. I freaking find it crazy when people don't understand how to use Zapier. Like, it can automate stuff. You can set up the most insane Zapier automations and quote-unquote funnels or whatever. It's insane. So anyway, there's that ranking right there. I could go way more about it, but I won't for now. Here's another comment I left. The question is situational and not permanent. And happiness is not permanent for anyone. And money absolutely allows you to transact for happiness. And happiness is just an emotion. So therefore, you can buy things and do things that do trigger happiness. So the answer is obviously money buys happiness whenever you want to transact for happiness, but you can also experience happiness for free, duh. So that's my answer. If anyone's wondering if money buys happiness, that's my answer. So here's a screenshot. Can you notice the pattern here, why I screenshotted this? This is interesting. So look, I'm looking at the view counts here, basically. So this one, it was within 1 day of when I saw this, but this video went viral. Can you guess why it went viral? Can you understand that that's free marketing? Can you understand that that's hundreds of dollars, if not thousands of dollars worth of free marketing that can be repeated if you understand why it worked? So I'm not saying you should go do this at all. I'm saying when you notice patterns, you're able to recreate them, but not copy. Because when you know the variables of what makes something work, you can go do it and you can repeat it. And it's a framework, it's a format that works. So anyway, I just screenshotted that because it's interesting. I love seeing stuff like that. This one's also very similar there. These are a bunch of high view counts on that channel there, TMZ Live. Here's another one. So when you notice the patterns between why these go viral, you start understanding the truth and you start understanding you get mega free advertising just doing these. You have to understand, I've gone so in depth on this over the last 5 years or longer at a level of intensity that's insane. So I study this stuff like a madman. Anyway, if you want to build if you want to become great in any field, you must embrace your savage side and become imbalanced. Some relationships may break down. The savage is not a socialized beast, and an imbalanced lifestyle often appears selfish from the outside. So if you want to become great, you do have to be savage. That's a fact. You cannot be selfless forever. It's a fact. You got to be selfish. So anyway, element formula, headline 3, benefits, proof, and future pace. It's just a great way to start any video pretty much, or any VSL or any webinar. It's a great way to do it. So this is OF again, showing statistics about it. Like, it's the most revenue efficient company ever. And why is that? It's because high profit margin. It's because it's digital. It's hyper scalable. It's repeatable. It's recurring. You know, they get a percentage of everything. A lot of these businesses, by the way, monetize digitally and have high profit margins. What does that tell you? The best businesses to get into is digital, selling something digital, and it better have high profit margins. And typically that's what digital is. So never forget that. I'm just giving you gold there. And when it's recurring, that's even better. So communities are recurring, OF or whatever, that's recurring. Softwares are recurring. Apps can be recurring. AI related applications or softwares can be recurring. Communities are recurring, so yeah, access to content is recurring. Netflix is access to entertainment content at the end of the day. That's recurring. A better framework, conflict equals attention, stakes equal retention. This is just a great way to think about how to make great content, like predictably. Resolution equals satisfaction. And by the way, YouTube and all the platforms care about satisfaction. That's why having a storyline with a character's desire matters. A repeatable format equals money because you can keep repeating it. So that's a great framework. How to sell these. So the demo strategy, the single best way to close automation clients is I built this for you. So basically you can contact potential business owner clients telling you, hey, I built this for you. Do you want to book a meeting to see it? So that could be a very effective angle, basically. Productize, bundle to sell. If you're selling an AI thing, you can sell an AI growth system. Now, I actually have a service where I do an all-in-one scalable business service where I take a business that's in momentum and I apply AI automations, AI growth in every way to the business for more traffic, more leads, higher conversions, extra monetization, automations and agents and everything into the business. It's insane. So authentic attraction method, this is just an interesting thing I saw, interesting infographic. It's kind of like the funnel of how people meet. It's effective, you know. So there's the initial first sight when you see them, there's the nonverbal triggers, and there's the open honest signals and the male and female attraction, the first 3 to 10 minutes. You also got to know when to leave or when to stay. Then qualify plus reward, and then investment. It's all about time investment. This is why watch time is everything, not only in dating and networking, but also in content and also in dating. So congruence and identity, on average, it does take literally 7 hours on average to have intimacy, if that makes sense. And this also applies to marketing and sales. On average, it takes a person 7 hours to trust and want to buy from who they follow. That's a fact. And that's why you need longer content, okay? It's a very advanced marketing principle and sales principle. The truth has no defense against a fool determined to believe a lie. This is a big problem in the world where people literally watch content or watch ideologies, and they just want to believe it just because they want to believe the lie. And they cannot look at all the angles and all the sides to things, and they just are literally fools. The relatability paradox, I was studying someone who went viral, and it says, because she's beautiful but talks about feeling unworthy and unlovable, that combination is unusually compelling. People think if she feels this way, my feelings make sense. It creates enormous parasocial connection because it's relatable. And don't underestimate the power of relatability when building personal brands. I'm serious, it's crazy. So you convince yourself you are preparing, but you are actually avoiding. Man, that is wild. So basically someone watched a video, they left a comment, I saw it too, and I was like, I'm gonna screenshot that. And basically it's talking about the inner mind. It's talking about how you convince yourself that you're preparing, but actually you're always avoiding. So people will get stuck in preparing and planning forever when actually they should be taking action. So niches to avoid when you do faceless channels, you can look at that. This is interesting. So vaginas and money are similar in that when you don't need it, everyone wants to give it to you. And when you desperately need it, nobody wants to give it to you. That's why abundance is so critical. And having the scarcity mindset is a huge problem. It's just a fact. I found that the more attractive a woman is, the more unconventional your approach should be. Beautiful women get hit on all the time with the same BS. So be outrageous, try something different, make it exciting for her, but do not reveal too much interest or attachment to the outcome. Like when you're free from outcome and you're totally detached and you're in abundance and you're unique and you stand out and you don't want anything, but you're also entitled to pursue still, that's attractive, okay? And always have backup. Having a sure thing takes the pressure off. It makes you less needy. Neediness to women is like garlic to vampires. I had so many things going on with so many different girls that I truly didn't care. If you don't have this abundance in your life, act as if you do, and it will come. So yeah, abundance always works. This applies to money, this applies to dating and networking and life in general. Video packaging. So this is kind of interesting screenshot. So this guy's a personal brand who doesn't put much effort into his videos necessarily in the production, but he has extreme results kind of within information and consulting or whatever. So it's showing, okay, step by step, the perceived likelihood of achievement, step by step, how I made 16 million, dream outcome, what someone would want. So you can just copy me. So time delay is easy, you could just copy, and it's effort and sacrifice easy because you can just copy, so it equals value. So when you create videos like this, that's a really good way to do the framework of titles. It just is. So industry credibility without lying or coming across cringe, subtle status signaling, accolades, speaking with authority, testimonials, case studies and proof. I studied content format, beginner to industry leader. So when you stack all of this, you have way higher credibility and trust and authority for sure. Sam's proposed content system, we could look at this. This is not the end all be all, but it's just a valuable screenshot I found. Complexity, effort. This is definitely super important to get really high, but the thing is you can pull on the strings of this, okay? These different variables. And these are not all the variables of creating a great brand or business or personal brand. Okay, so here's an interesting comment I left again. So do boring content because it sells is incomplete advice. Okay, the better strategy is create content that gets attention and converts. Viral / entertaining content gets people in the door. Education / value content builds trust, proof and results, and call to action content turns trust into sales. And this is a fact. You shouldn't just make boring content because it sells, because that doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying here? Big views without sales is just entertainment. Sales content with no views is invisible. The game is combining both. Entertainment plus value plus proof plus offer equals views and revenue. And that's the thing, like people binge watch a lot of content. So most of it is actually just building up the 7 hour on average rule. Okay, you need people to watch on average 7 hours, maybe 8 hours on average. It varies, of course. Some people buy within the first minute. I'm just kidding, that's super rare though. But people need more time investment to make a decision and trust. And that's why you need a lot of entertainment content, a lot of viral content, a lot of long content. Then you're gonna have call to actions, a proof and result videos and testimonial videos. And this stuff converts into sales as well. And that's how it works, guys. I'm telling you, that's how it works. Testing what happens if you jump off a moving train. So this video is hitting on expertise, effort, proof. It's combining a lot of things. It's rare, it's novel, it's not seen before. It's definitely extreme, and that's what works, okay? And that's why this video did so well, okay? You could repeat that in your own way. Not copy the same video, but like see the variables of what works and then brainstorm ideas. You can even tell AI nowadays to think of ideas for you that are easy to do, that are also extreme and rare and novel and different and hard to copy. And you will create viral free advertising for yourself that will crush it. And you can come back to this video and say thank you. You can thank me later. The Trinity of Yap Maxing. So there's the topic, the title, and the take. So when you're yapping, you could just make endless content yapping. I don't recommend it necessarily, but it adds up. And nowadays with content, doing a personal brand, all you gotta do is just yap. You pick a topic, you do your take on it, and you just have a title. That's it. Okay, so Albert Einstein said the magic of compounding interest is truly the eighth wonder of the world. It's true. And not only compounding of money, but also results, and also momentum, and also the winner effect of confidence and self-esteem, but also the power of compounding knowledge and skill sets is no joke. No joke at all. I was in hospital on life support with girls begging Mitchell for my Amex credit card. He said, no, the constant theme of girls trying to use me for money is brutal for a young guy trying to navigate the complex of society. Hopefully I can find a girl whose intent is not to screw me over and take my money. So Clavicular left this post. I thought it was kind of interesting because it's true. You gotta, when you're successful, you gotta know how to read people. You gotta know why people are like interacting with you. What do they want from you? The older you get, the smarter and wiser you get with this stuff. But this dude's like 20 years old or something, and he's got a lot of like quote unquote clout, you could say, and that has certain people chase after you, and even manipulative people chase after you and try to get stuff from you. So you got to know how to navigate this world. You just do. AI development, agent development. You validate, you pre-sale, you launch manually, you build audience, and you productize. That's great. How wonderful. S tier for different AI make money methods. So AI agent development for sure, cybersecurity, consulting for sure, AI lead generation's insane. There's a lot of money to be made with that. Everyone wants leads. Everybody wants leads. Okay. AI to AI marketplace, AI voice agents, AI chatbots, AI copywriting. This one I don't think is going to be that valuable in the future. Even this one. It's just too easy for people to do these. Faceless AI channels has a lot of risks to it for sure. You better make some high quality content with AI, otherwise you just get shut down, okay? I went through a phase for several months testing some stuff with AI, building a team around it and everything. Obviously I have my faceless channel and then I sold one in the past, but yeah, the new wave of AI plus faceless content, you better make sure the content isn't low quality. That's all I'm gonna say. So this is like you can niche down to specific types of businesses to sell AI services to and automations to, okay? This is interesting. So you can be the behind the scenes master, the guy who literally builds huge personal brands behind the scenes. And that's a super skill, by the way. Good luck replicating what the mega ballers are doing with how they build mega celebrities behind the scenes. And they are masters of psychology. It's crazy. So it's just kind of interesting to see someone who's like that. Here are the top takeaways from the script. Attention is a great starting point. The 10x idea comes from survival pressure. Cold outreach works, but it does not scale by itself. So you can read this if you want. It's just valuable takeaways from a video. Network only matters when it turns into value. Like, people don't network with people who don't offer value. You better offer some freaking value, bro, if you want to network effectively. The best niches to sell to, once again, these are like small businesses you could sell to, AI services. What do the businesses struggle with most? I mean, a lot of them, it's marketing, leads, and sales, and also communicating and following up with leads. The AI system we sell, generate leads, sell appointments, close the appointments. So this is interesting. So everybody's, when they're making content out here online, everybody's just like not in the club of the top 1%. You need to be in the top 10%, but also the top 1% club when it comes to retention and shareability and viral content. And that gets 90% of all the views. But obviously this gets tons of views too, but it's like they're low view counts. They're not worth it. But they do add up. But it's like the top content. You better analyze the top content. Trust me, this is the future of marketing. It'll only be pretty much this. These are the videos at the top. You got stories, frameworks, examples, results, blah, blah, blah. And then ask why, learn a lesson, and post. So that's just a framework for making a type of format, type of content. Now, when you're pitching or selling something, you can bring up the problem, show your credibility, what's your agenda, what's your belief, your story, make the epiphany happen in their mind where it's like a no-brainer for them to want this solution to the problem. And then 3 to 5 points, then a bridge, then you pitch, and then sale happens. Here's a valuable screenshot of you got to acquire, deliver, and expand, and it never ends. And that's how you build a big business. And obviously you can't read most of this, so good luck. So before and after, perceived likelihood of achievement. This matters because people need to see the before and after to trust it, before and after of results. This creates perceived likelihood of achievement and trust. Numbers and visual proof and before and afters. Principle like a drug. First hit is free. They come back for more, but the next one costs. Give away all the secrets. Sell the implementation. Keep your business legal. So it's like you can give away all your secrets, all the information, but then you sell high ticket the implementation. And this is a type of business model that definitely is proven for sure. The most important refinement is this. Do not sell AI. Sell speed to money. Like people are just marketing, oh yeah, AI, but the truth is the only thing that ever sells is results. That's it. When you sell speed to get money, or you save people time, or you help people make more money fast, that's great. That actually does lead to more money. So you can look at that. What I think your instincts are mostly right, but I think need to be sharpened. Money is not in AI. The money is in using AI to create faster results for people who already have painful problems. The better version of your thesis is this. Okay, I'm going to speed run this, so you have to pause and read this. Okay, that's how I'm going to get you to replay this and pause. I'm just kidding. So good and useful. The sweet spot is a really good thing. We're speeding through this because I don't want to give away the top secrets. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I'm just sharing the value with you. Okay, so marketers, 9 to 5 people who want to quit their jobs, business owners. These are the people who would pay for like AI services in a way. It's a type of angle you can go. On YouTube, viewers decide what they want to watch. All creators have a fair shot. Videos gain engagement based on do they connect with their audience or not. Not because gatekeepers chose them. And that's what's going to start happening potentially with some lawmakers in Europe and maybe the whole world, where freedom of speech is not a thing anymore because these platforms freaking decide, who gets to watch what, who gets pushed in the algorithm, and who gets suppressed. An overview of what you're going to learn. This is interesting. This is a screenshot from a book, and this is how you can basically create your own book, physical book. So you do the mind map, the outline, the rough draft, the self-editing, the professional editing, then the cover design, and the formatting, then you launch. And you could do a lot of books. There's a lot of money in making good books. So this is one of the best ways to make really successful offers in businesses. When you sell sticky, like it's sticky, like they don't leave it, okay? And it's expensive, so it's pretty high priced. And then it's expanding and able to scale, and then it's basically air. It's like high profit margin air, easy to build, easy to fulfill, all that stuff. And it's unique. It needs to be unique. It needs to stand out. It needs to be prolific. It needs to be a combination of weird plus mainstream. And that's what prolific is. That's what unique is. And it's even better if it's recurring and people keep buying. So number one most impressive thing that I've built, the AI said that I built with software, is my AI Business Prospector autocaller software. I basically made it where it can search up any business in any country, in any radius, and any topic, and it gets all the leads, and it automatically calls everybody with my built-in AI caller. That's a perfect voice, and it sells adaptably. If you want this built for you, you can contact me. I'm not trying to pitch it or anything, but I do actually sell this on Gumroad, less than $197, by the way. You can check out the link down below. But yeah, it's my AI Business Prospect. I built it, and I can teach you exactly how to build it, how I built it, if you want to learn how. Or if you want me to do it done for you, let me know. So AI tool stack for rapid website development, you can look at that. This is how the funnel literally works to get sales online. It's like attract views, then do the long form content, and then the bottom of funnel content is basically just what leads to sales, which is results and call to actions and proof and proof and proof and proof. The trust journey, you can look at that, and it really is all about the 7-hour rule. You got to have long form content and a lot of content and a lot of platforms, and it turns into sales every single time, baby. So the micro niche system, you can look at that if you want. So you really do build momentum and energy when you have a lot of wins in your life, and it adds up, and you got to keep that momentum. The sales presentation lesson, yeah, you got to get into state if you want to sell really well. A very good screenshot. That's all I'm going to say. LOL. So there's cold traffic, then the main content types, and then focus on problem solving. The main content types is long form and proof and all that stuff. It makes them warm, and then you got to get them to be hot and ready to buy. Okay, that's how the funnel always will work. So get rich for sure. It's about leverage and compounding. Anyway, I screenshot valuable stuff I see. That's all I'm sharing here. Best-selling digital products is what someone said, and I agree with it. So yeah, these are some things I shared. Also, the adult industry makes crazy money. It's digital products as well. The system lifestyle is build, systematize, and scale, and keep repeating it. So when you can get paid clients, guys, you don't need to know certain skill sets. You can just get paid clients and have freelancers fulfill services, and you just keep marketing and fulfilling and selling, and that's it. And you keep the difference. It's called drop servicing, basically. Focus on a specific topic, genuinely help your audience, build their trust over time, earn money from trust. This is a great guaranteed way to make money, by the way. I thought this was an interesting picture, interesting content format type. That's why I screenshotted it. So the 13-13 rule, most people chase viral moments. That's the wrong goal. One loyal fan who watches an hour of your content a week is worth way more than one-time viewers. Joe Rogan has people watching 5 hours a week. That's why he prints money. You know, you gotta have longer content. 13 hours of your content watched per person, 13 weeks to achieve it through consistent output. The 60-30-10 rule, structure your content with precise and your audience grows and buys. AI can analyze your last 10 posts and tell you instantly whether it's breaking the ratio or leaking attention and sales. So 60% should be on brand and in your industry, then 30% lifestyle, and then 10% can be a pattern interrupt, something nobody expects, just something random, something entertaining, something extreme. That's what works. And when you do this, you will grow a huge business and brand and have a marketing content machine. And that's where the big money compounds, because you upload content, it's out there forever. It keeps growing, keep going, and be consistent. You will crush it. So there you go. Let me know what you guys think if you like this kind of format. If the video feedback here is great, I'll keep doing it. But yeah, this is like 4 months of random screenshots of valuable stuff. Let me know if you like this format. Thank you so much. And if you want consulting with me or anything or any value from me, check it out down below, and peace.